All right, welcome back to the LPR Trading YouTube channel. Today we're going to talk about the market paradox. You know, a lot of the times the market does things that doesn't quite make sense to us, and that's why it is a difficult tool to trade. It's a difficult tool to make your money off of. The market will move in certain ways that don't make sense to you or don't make sense to anyone else. What makes sense to me could possibly make sense to you or make sense to none of us. This is essentially the definition of a paradox. Something doesn't always have to make sense. And this is the market on a daily basis. So in the chat room today, we were talking about the overall market, the condition it's in. We've got this nice big uptrending channel. We broke the channel some days ago into last week, and we've been on this big downturn of 5, 6, 7 red days in a row. We had some acceleration to the downside today, which was pretty wild. I had no intentions on shorting this. I was pretty much in the position that if the market did want to hold value somewhere in one of our zones and buyers started showing presence, I would take the market to the long side. But because of this dump that we had here over the past few days, I'm not super interested in jumping in front of price. This is like trying to stop a freight train. And this is where people get really hurt in the market. You have to recognize that, at least for me, with the market coming off 5, 6, 7 red days in a row, I feel like I'm chasing the market down here if I'm doing anything other than scalping. If you want to scalp moves to the short side on something like this, that's fine. If you're trying to trend a trade after 6, 7, 8 red days, you're probably in big trouble. Sometimes it will work, but when you go to the casino, sometimes putting $100 on 17 will work as well. It doesn't mean it's the right play. So we were looking for plays intraday today where the market would catch a bid, buyers would show presence, and push the market to the upside. At the end of the day, I didn't take a single trade today, and most of the chat didn't either. Let's break it down on the intraday time frames here for you, and we'll go sort of play by play what we were looking at for today. So first, we had this nice zone, this 45-minute zone that price was sitting in off the open. We actually dipped below the zone. We reclaimed into the open, and we were looking for a TZ play below this pivot low. So if I saw price drop like a morning wash below this pivot low and we quickly reclaimed, we were looking for a move to the upside. Now we didn't get that. We actually just made an initial balance or an opening range without breaking that low. We failed to break the opening range high and the market started rolling over. This was another potential TZ play, but the issue with this one is this big candle here is not what we like to call low volume and orderly. This is not a pullback. This is more of a sell-off. This pretty much engulfed the first 12 minutes of the open in one single candle. We broke the lows, and after that, we just held below the lows for the rest of the day, or for the next few hours, and we'll get into that. So after these two plays not panning out for us, I mean, we didn't take any of these trades, but after them, you know, these trades didn't come to fruition. We didn't get to execute on them. I just put my hands under my butt and I sat there and I said, you know, if the market's not going to give us a perfect world scenario here for a long, I'm not taking it. As I said before, we're too late to the game, in my opinion, to try and jump on the short bandwagon unless we're trying to scalp the market. So we're just sitting there waiting for the longs. Now, the only areas that I see for good potential long opportunities are here. And I didn't love this because, like I said, I want to see the market proving itself before we get into a position. So this was our first piece of evidence here, that the market was finding value inside of our 42725 area, 7125 area. It started to find value. Buyers started to push price up, and we got this move to the upside. Now, what I said in the chat room, and I'll show you guys in a second, is if we push above this area, pull back, hold, and start making higher lows here, this is a place we can look to start getting long for the break into and possibly above high of day. Now, the market didn't agree with what we had planned. That's fine. We sit on our hands and we don't get trapped executing trades that are subpar, because that is not what we want to do as traders. Let me go back and show you some of this chatter, because we had a lot I used today to really fill up this intraday market discussion, because there was a ton to talk about today, even though we didn't take any trades. So we talked about the TZ plays off the open. Don't jump into these TZ plays when they have heavy sell pressure into our levels or zones. This is not orderly. So this is what I talked about right at the open. We are not jumping into these plays on this accelerated down move or this heavy sell pressure, okay? We were looking at a potential TZ play here, but we needed confirmation. We needed price to push up and hold higher lows over the zone. We're telling everyone to just wait. A lot of traders don't understand that cash is a position. Sitting on your hands is a position. Capital preservation is our #1 priority as traders. For some reason, people have trouble just sitting on their hands and waiting. You have to know that the market is a device that transfers wealth from the impatient to the patient. You have to choose what side you're on, okay? So we got ES moving down into a DZ here. I'm telling the whole chat, do not step in front of this. Do not step in front of the market when it's in a free fall. We need additional confirmation to push price to the upside. We're talking about key areas, key pivots, and key previous buy zones that buyers were active in earlier on in the year and into the end of last year and the previous years that we can use to possibly initiate another buy. It doesn't mean we just go in and buy these areas blindly. We wait for buyers to show presence, create a wave, we grab a hold of the wave, and we begin to ride it. We also cannot predict a bounce. We cannot predict a bounce. We just have to sit here and let the market play out for itself. Our job as traders is to preserve capital in situations that aren't fit for our trading style. This is what I'm currently doing. I was constantly reminding the chat today, we don't have to trade. We don't have to trade, okay? We're giving out the scenarios that we want to see, If the market plays out in a certain way, this is what we can do. So I gave a possible scenario here for shorts that I did not like because, as I said before, the market is down 5, 6, 7, 8 days in a row. I'm not about to try and short this in demand when I would rather look for a long play, which seems like the play that would have paid today. Now, if we popped above this area and held above this area, that's buyers showing value in this area. Then we could have got interested. I'm giving out more examples of what we want to see here as we're playing out. And I'm telling the chat, stay bored. I know you're bored. I know you're sitting around. I know you're wishing you could take a trade, but believe me, if there's no trade to be taken, you don't want to take it, okay? The sell-off here is max pain for a lot of longer-term buyers. I was telling the chat here, on this pullback right here, this is the value area. If buyers are going to step in, this is where they're going to step into the play. We do have a large candle right here, which is not orderly. The volume's relatively low. If buyers start stepping in this area, we could really push price up and through this 43.1475 area. So as I said, this is where buyers came in and they actually pushed price up. Now, when we say buyers could possibly step in and push price up from a certain area, it doesn't mean that this is going to be the low and you're never going to get stopped out here. It's just if there's going to be any participation, this is where it should start happening. Then it's our job as traders to identify a pattern and a potential area where buyers are staying strong so we can participate in the wave that they're creating. Market holding over this area equals strong. Anything else I don't trust. Okay, so I've marked that 43.1150 area. I don't trust anything in the market below this area. If we make new lows, it's currently weak. And if we hold this area and push over this 43.1150, then we could possibly look into a strong market. Okay, and I throw out this little GIF here. This market is absolutely, well, I don't want to say it's choppy because it gave us range. It just didn't give us easily identifiable setups to play, and that's fine. That's trading. Like I said before, we have a daily chart that does not give us reason to be chasing short down here, in my opinion. We don't want to be chasing short down in these buy zones or these high value zones. I would just rather sit around and wait for the buy opportunity or not trade. I ended up leaving the charts actually right when we broke down here. We had this nice trend. We broke down. Again, I'm not shorting this. Some people did. That's fine. And I left right around this area. But you can see, as price started holding value into the lows, we started holding value into the lows. How do I know we held value into the lows? We double bottom. We make higher lows. Price accelerates through a consolidation or a base, which is used to form strength for a move to the upside or the downside. We don't know. But consolidations form strength and power. for secondary moves, okay? Or to start a move for that matter. Now, I'm not saying we have to take the trade out of this base. This just gives us conviction that price could potentially move up from here. There are a few setups that happened within this area that the chat room executed on, and they actually got long, and they had really fantastic trades, which was great. I was not around here at this time, or else I would have been taking the trades. I walked away and just spared myself the mental capital. With this video, I wanted to give you guys a complete walkthrough of sort of what we talked about in the chat on a day like today, especially a day where not many members in the chat, including myself, actually took a trade. And we didn't take a trade on a day that had like $140 worth of range, which seems insane, right? The thing is our plan just didn't come to the forefront. We couldn't execute. The market was doing things that we did not expect or we did not plan for. So it is our job as traders to preserve capital and sit sidelined. If you can't plan for the trade, you're not supposed to take the trade. I'll leave it at that, and we'll see you guys on the charts.